Hi, my name is Christa. Welcome to the Secret Yarnery Crochet Vlog, Episode 8. Today, I do have some finished objects. I do have some whips. Well, of course I have whips. As one of my lovely students said, don't get stressed out about your whips, they keep you going. And I was like, that is so liberating. You know, don't feel bad like, oh, I have to go finish that Afghan. You'll finish it when it's inspiring. So I thought that was really, really great. Very, liberating, empowering, I suppose. So whips for all of us. Okay, let me start with my, what are we calling it? We're calling it a scarf shrug? I don't know, we need a better name for it. But it's basically a rectangle, just regular double crochet. If you use a nice yarn, you don't have to do any fancy stitches. So this is 8 balls of 50 grams, eyelash, polar eyelash, something, orchid I think. But it just goes on your top part of your body. I don't know if you can see. But it's really cute. So, well, I think it's really cute. But it's really just a rectangle. So you make a chain from one of your wrists to your other wrist. A little bit shorter because, of course, crochet stretches. And then double crochet back and forth. Back and forth, back and forth, until you have about 20 inches. That's what the pattern says. I changed it from, it's Midnight Shell Shawl, I think. I'll put a link in the description box below. But it's like a nice fancy stitch for like a plain yarn. So I was like, good idea, but double crochet with a nice yarn. Super quick and really nice to like take that sundress from summer into fall without being chilly. So that was my big idea. Love it. It's probably going to get a bit hot, so I'm probably taking it off soon. So I thought I'd get that out of the way. Acquisitions or whips? Let's do acquisitions because I don't get them very often. So my Amazon arrived. So excited. I think it arrived Saturday afternoon. Now, today is already Friday, the following Friday. Been so busy. But anyway, I got these needles for sewing in, and I was really excited about them. Knitter's Pride wool needles. So they come like that. They're just aluminum, 3 different sizes. And then they have like a nylon loop at the end to put your yarn through. And I was really excited about them because they're obviously aluminum, so they'll be strong, they won't break and bend. But I've become lazy with my Susan Bates. So I have my Susan Bates ones. I was going to have them here, but then of course I didn't. But you know the plastic ones with the slit all the way down. Anyway, I end up using them a lot. Let me go get one. I'll show you. So these are the Susan Bates ones. So it's basically just one big eye, the big eye of the needle. So you can just poke your yarn in with your finger, and they're sharp on both ends. So the good thing about those, I hope you can see it. The good thing about those is if you have a really short tail, you can just poke it through and then hold the tail down by where you're going to be stitching in. So you don't have to have a tail this longer than your length of your needle. You can work in really tiny ends with those. The downside is they can get a bit worn at the tip. So they kind of eventually snag. Which kind of sucked, which is why I was excited about getting these, but then I realized I'm really lazy, and I don't want to leave a tail that's so long, you know, that long. But if you have long tails, I think these would be great. If you have short tails or mistakes to fix, definitely stay with the Susan Bates. But I think I'll be using both of them. So those are acquisitions. I got 3 extra packs of the Susan Bates because I started having nightmares that I lost it. Actually, I did lose one of the pink ones and I couldn't find it. My staff ended up tucking it right where it was supposed to be, but I didn't know. And I was like, oh my gosh, my needle. And then you think back to having to use a regular needle and I was having anxiety. So I got 3 packs of these. I'm not going to keep all 3 packs. Some I will sell, but definitely keeping a spare pack. And these are I think these are cool. I'll keep a pack for myself. And when I start using them, I'll let you know how I like them. I started to use one and then I was like, oh, never mind. Give me my little guy. So, needles. And I got 2 packs of these, the tulip crochet hooks, to sell to my students, but, well, no, I still have, anyway, I'm battling with myself about keeping one. I do have them individual in the sizes that I use, but then it's so nice to have a full set. And it's like such a cute package. I don't need it. I don't need it. So I'm trying to hold myself back, but I got 2 packs of those. And my favorite book that I'm in love with right now is this one, Top Down Crochet Sweaters. Fabulous patterns with perfect fit. So what I really like about this book, I first saw it in PDF, but anyway, I had to order like the real hard copy because I just love it. And there's something about a book, you know, like it feels better. So anyway, I got the book. So the really good thing about it, but you can kind of probably see the nice sweater she has. So 2 good things about it. Number 1, she has a whole section on like the technique, starting at the yoke, working down, totally explains it. So it's not like you're following a pattern being like, why am I skipping a stitch? Why am I adding stitches? What, you understand what you're doing before you start doing it. She explains where to measure, like the, you know, the neck here, and if you change it slightly here, and everything to do, plus how to change like a pullover into a cardigan for any pattern. So she really explains everything, and the different necklines, the raglan, which is more of the square or the oval or the boat neck. It's fantastic. So the whole first half is literally technique and when to try it on so you know that it fits you. Anyway, I'm in love with it. And then the last half is actual patterns, which are also explained. But like, see how she does her measurements? Like, that makes sense. Really does. So, love it. And then the last half is patterns and how to make each of them either into a loose fitting cardigan or a properly fitting for your body pullover, sweater, jumper if you're in the UK. So see, and you can kind of see here how she does it. So one is like a loose fitting version and one's a tight fitting. And then she also explains how to like divide it in half so it's a cardigan for all the patterns. Plus any other pattern you'd be thinking about. So I think this is like a sweater Bible, basically, a top-down sweater Bible. So I love it. I used the top down for that chenille dress I made. It only took 2 days, but it was treble crochet, so it went really quick. But totally want to do this when I have time. Like, I want to do all of those when I have time. With my bamboo, my cotton bamboo up there. Love to do it. And even these ones, the 100% cotton, 100% bamboo. And these ones over here, that gray and the pearl, I think you can probably see it. Those are 100% bamboo, and I totally want to make a delicious sweater out of those. So anyway, this is my little pride and joy. Haven't had time to actually, flip through the whole thing, but I love it. So excited about it. Like, who doesn't need that in your crochet wardrobe? Like, I totally do. Super sweet, casual, throw over your jeans. Oh, love it. Anyway, I could go on, obviously. Those are my main acquisitions. Let me take off my... So this is just folded in half. You can see how it opens here. So you sew down 16 inches on each side of your rectangle. That makes your sleeves. Center's open. Throw it over your shoulders. Cute. Okay, now put that over here. Then I was wanting to well, you know, at night I go through YouTube and I like look through, I don't know, I get some idea and then I search it and then one idea turns into another. So I forget what I was looking for. No, I was on Amazon. I've been on Amazon. Okay, so I was on Amazon and I was looking, you know this, it's like, it looks like a cat ball or a hamster ball, plastic, clear plastic. It's called a yarnet. So the idea is you put your ball of yarn inside and it has a base that screws on, and you can also put your scissors and needle in that silicone base, and the silicone base is the same size as a cup holder. So you can put it in your car in your cup holder thing, and then put your ball of yarn inside and do all your crochet and everything, and your ball doesn't roll around and get dirty, or your cat doesn't play with it. So we've joked about that for about a year now in our crochet class, that we all want one, but then when you go to do your shopping online, and then the shipping and everything, because they're light and bigger, it just works out to be, it never makes it into the shopping cart before you check out. Like, it's always in the shopping cart, and I always take it out to be more practical, because it's not really a need, it's a want. You know what I mean. So anyway, it's been off the list. So I was looking at that again, because I'm always looking at it. Yarnet. I'll put a link below. And anyway, up came these other pictures of like people with yarn, like a bag that they put underneath their arm. So you'd have it underneath your arm, and your ball would be inside, and then you just crochet with it. Most of them are stitched, they're sewn, which would be super easy. And I have a wardrobe, 3 wardrobe closets full of fabric next door in my other bedroom of my guest house. So I mean, I could totally whip those up. It wouldn't take any time at all, like 15 minutes. But then I'm like, it defeats the purpose, because obviously we crochet, it should be crochet fact, right? So calm down, think of something with yarn. So I Googled that, and up came this really cute idea of this kind of bag. This is bigger, because in my head I was like, oh, well, you need your 3 balls because you're doing your whatever, you need a selection. And then this turned into be like an actual band, and it's becoming summer here. It's like 28 degrees now in the day, pretty much. It doesn't really get hotter than that, but that's hot, and I don't really want a big cuff of acrylic yarn heating up my arm, so I did cotton for the top band and acrylic for the bottom, just because I was doing the pattern. It's not her pattern, I just did my own thing, but it was her idea. I'll put the link below, I forget the name of it, but really cute, really good idea. She also has a YouTube tutorial on it, and I thought that was really cute. But as I was doing it, it took like all morning, because I'm doing single crochets around and around and around, and that's not practical for me. I don't have half a day to make a little thing for my yarn on my arm. Like, it just needed to be quicker. So I saw another, then I started just Googling photos of yarn bags and things, and then anything that wasn't stitched I looked at. So there was one, I will also link it below. She makes great stuff, great tutorials, and a really good Instagram account. Forget the name of it too, I tell you. I've only had 1 cup of coffee, so fuzzy brain. Anyway, she had a really good idea. So I looked at that picture. I didn't follow the pattern, because that's me. That was going to take up too much time. So this is my first prototype, and I did my handles different, I did my bottom different, and I did my sides different, but her idea, which is 2 little straps, cotton, that go over your arm, and then your ball sits inside, and you can just literally crochet. So I really liked that. This one turned out to be too big, because when you put a ball of yarn in it, I must have a ball of yarn. This is a big ball of yarn. That one actually fits. But my regular balls of yarn, oh, there they are down there. That bad. Oh, here's one. Oh, that's still big. Here's one. That's how much yarn. I don't even have to move. So terrible. Okay, so regular size ball of yarn, but it like disappears inside there. It almost looks like a wine bag. Like, it's big. And yes, my ends. But I gave up on this one. So that was my first got over it. Then this one is my second. It has a smaller ball of yarn inside. I was actually using this one. So you just put it over your arm and then you crochet. So even when you're sitting around, you just are crocheting like that, and then the door rings, you have to go answer the phone, your child wants something. You just go. You don't have to like put your crochet down and you know, pull up a loop. You can just literally stand up and get going. And I was like, that is so handy. So I've really actually been using it. And then even when you do have to go and it turns out you have to do something, like pour juice or, you know, put down your crochet, you can just like bunch it up and tuck your hook and your work, if it's small, into the little bag, do your thing, and then when you're done, grab it all out and keep going. So that one, that's basically the pattern we did. And I also did some decreases on these corners of the handles so it doesn't just go out straight, like it doesn't curl up so much when it goes up. So I like that. And another one, because they're so cute. So basically, I'll have a tutorial on it, but if you're a crocheter, you can just whip it out. A perfect circle on the bottom, and then back post double crochets to get your edge started. Optional, you could just not do it, but I think it looks more bag-like with that cute thing at the bottom. You can also change colors, up to you. And then 8 rows of double crochet, and then 4 rows, well I think I did 3 rows actually, of single crochet, and then start your handles. So cute. So I love those. Now that's like my thing. I'm like, oh, I'm crocheting, hold on. Even when I'm watching Netflix, I'm like, well, hold on. Because you never know when you have to get up. So love those. Love them. I made them in cotton so that they are nice and stretchy and lightweight and soft and not hot, like acrylic would be. Speaking of acrylic, I ordered 24 kilos of the colors for our BizBaz. So I'll put a picture in there of all my yarn. I have to unpack it, but I got my colors. There's some weird colors in there actually. They gave me 2 weird ones. Good thing I use it. Good thing it's a nice color. Or maybe I ordered wrong. I could have ordered wrong. You order by code, so it's like 5002, 5017. I know it's all weird. Then they don't like, anyway. Ordering yarn on. I order by email. Anyway, I love these things. Then someone else also suggested in one of our other vlog comments things to make for a craft fair out of crochet, and suggested water bottle holders. So after making that, these ones, the yarn on the arm bag, I think that's what we're going to call it, yarn on the arm, because it's fun to say. After making these, I was like, well, that could be like for a water bottle also. So this was the first one I did of this, of the water bottle holder. Like that. So same thing, perfect circle at the bottom, but only 2 rounds. And then same thing, back post double crochet and 8 rounds. This one's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, this is 8. So 8 rounds of double crochet again, because you know it's going to stretch with the weight of the water and everything. And then 4 rounds of single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 rounds of single crochet, and then you do your handles. So you work around your stitches going up and around the one side to join, and then cut your yarn, join your yarn on the other side, and do the same thing. Up the chain and around this side. So I thought that looks so good. Really like it. My son was like, oh, I want one. Of course. He actually took yarn, like just a string of yarn, and looped it around underneath that ridge to take to school. I was like, I'll make you one. So I made him a really nice one. I'll put another picture over there with gray at the bottom and red for the center and gray for the straps. So he loves it. He's taken that to school today, so I can't show you. He was like, I hid it upstairs. I didn't hide it, but I had it in my basket of whips And he was like running around the house late. Not late, but he's always the last one in the car. Being, where's my water bottle thingy, mama? So he took it to school, but so cute. And they feel really good too, cotton. So I was just going to put together some kits of that, like the pattern and the 2 balls of cotton yarn. So you can make your own, but they're really cute. And I also started making some more. So I'm just going to make, in the cotton that I have, one of every color, and then do the sides, and then do all the handles. So hopefully I'll get about 10 ready for the craft fair. So that's what I'm working on. I'm like so excited about these bags. Like, they have to match my outfit. That's where we're at with it. They're so cute. Yes, I did a tutorial on it. I have to edit it, but I think I filmed making this one. So that's the one that I filmed. Super cute. So when I have time to edit that, I will. Now, that's what I'm working on. So that's my whips. Yeah. And my ladies, I couldn't see them yesterday. I had a court date for one of my sons. We're in the process of our 3rd adoption. So we had a court date on a Thursday. Totally didn't realize that Thursday was my commitment to these ladies. So changed them for today at noon, which is why we're vlogging early in the morning, so I can zoom out to see what they're up to. Haven't had any ideas of what I'm going to have them do. Don't really want to be giving out expensive imported yarn. Don't really want too much acrylic stuff. I don't know. So this week coming up, I'm going to give them a break. I think my 3 ladies, my 2 ones who make the really good crochet granny squares, and my house mother, I'll have them doing something. Maybe. More of the same, I suppose. I'm not even sure. I have so many granny squares. Actually, I think I'm going to get my house mom joining the granny squares into little bags this week coming up. And maybe everybody else takes a break. I don't know what I'm up to. But I have enough granny squares. And I'm going to have enough bunting. Everybody's making bunting, which is what I will be buying from them today. So that is that news. What else is there? I think that's about it. So classes this weekend. We are doing the mandala stools. We're going to actually be doing that on Monday. That's Monday's class. And I think Saturday's class is going to be these cute little bags, yarn on the arm bags. So that's this weekend. So I have to write up this pattern and write up the mandala stool pattern. I have a lot of computer stuff to do. I really need to take like some time off and sit at the computer, you know, doing WordPress, website, uploading patterns and Ravelry and all that maintenance. In my head, it doesn't take long. You're like, oh, I'll just sit down and I'll have it done by 10:30. No, it takes a long time. I'm not like a tech savvy person. I'm not an idiot, but I have to like Google it and then do it and then YouTube it and then do it and then I'm like, oh, I did it. But it's not like I just go in and code. You know what I mean? So anyway, that is that process I'm in or need to be in. My kids are home from school next week, so I'm not sure if that's good or bad. We'll hear them in the yard hooting and hollering, so I won't have the peace and quiet, which I like. You know, I like it. I like having them home. So that's next week. And, oh, then one of my friends from out at Brackenhurst has suggested that we also we have a tent space, rent a tent space at the Brackenhurst Harvest Festival, which is October 22nd. And at first I was like, no, like I'm already doing this really big event in early November, so like I don't need to do another one. And then I was like, you were doing a really big event in November, why don't you do a super fun small one? Like, so much easier, so like, you know, out in my favorite place, out in tea country. So that would be like Anyway, she's really excited about it. She's like, oh, crochet, blah, blah, blah. She crochets. She's a registered nurse from, she's from the state. She's from the South, but I forget the state she's from. But she has that great accent, you know, like that one that you want to copy and sound like you're from Tennessee or something. But she's from, like, down south. I want to, anyway, I can't even say, but she, yeah, south. She's here. Her husband's here. They're missionaries. Her husband is very well educated. He's a doctor a bazillion times over, and a pediatric anesthesiologist. So they're here for 10 years while he trains as many anesthesiologists to be pediatric anesthesiologists in Kenya, because apparently Kenya doesn't have even one. He's the only one. So she's great. She crochets. We hang out quite a bit, and she's like, you have to do this craft fair. It's not a craft fair, harvest festival. Anyway, signed up, doing that one. We have our own tent, not too big, 11 feet by 11 feet. Sensible. And they even give you a table, like, you see, and table and chairs. You don't have to bring your own stuff. The big one, you have to bring everything. You just get shelter. So that is the 22nd, which is a Sunday. So this week coming up, my kids are home, and then I have that one on Sunday, which my kids are also going to. So that'll be this week coming up. I'll pop in and say hi, but I'm not going to be going to see my ladies until the following week. So 2 weeks, they're not doing anything. I don't know. I need some ideas in my head. So that's it. I think I have everything. So rainy season has started. Oh, like Kenyan blurb, but I'm just going to ease into it. So the rainy season has started. They always say it's supposed to start mid-April and it's supposed to start mid-October. The last 5 years, maybe I don't know 5, but it feels like 5 years it hasn't. It's either early or late, or it doesn't really start. It just kind of sprinkles occasionally, but you never actually get like rain. So 2 days ago it started raining. So rains in Kenya. I'm from Vancouver. Well, I'm not from Vancouver, but Vancouver, it rains a lot, and I lived there for a bazillion years, like 20 years or something. So you're used to it raining, but it's like, kind of like a mist. Like, it's just kind of wet and it's kind of misting. You don't even need an umbrella, really. Like, you get used to it. Here, it dumps rain, and it's per cloud. So, like, this cloud might have rain, and this cloud won't. So that one cloud is just going to go around and dump. And then, like, 3 blocks away, it's sunny and dry. So in rainy season, it rains during the day probably about 2 days per season, so maybe 4 days a year that it actually rains in the day. And it's like, wow, it's raining in the day. Like, traffic's messed up, people going to work. There's public transit here. They charge more to get on public transit when it rains. It's weather dependent on the price. So, or the price is dependent on the weather. So people take their cars instead of paying the extra 10 or 20 cents or 50 cents for public transit. So the roads are full of, like, so many more cars than there normally is. So those rainy days, you're like, oh, like, you just, I mean, it's fine in the suburbs, like where I am and stuff. Like, I can go, it's not like I notice going to the grocery store, but like going downtown or to the airport, or, you know, where you have to go through main arteries, nightmare. So don't do that if you don't have to. But generally it starts raining at 4:30 in the afternoon. Like, with the breeze, you get a little bit of rain. Or instead of the breeze, you get some rain. And then it stops. Sometimes it stops soon. Like, maybe it rains for a half an hour, an hour, 2 hours. Sometimes it stops at midnight. Sometimes it stops at like 5 or 6 in the morning. Occasionally you will wake up to it still raining. But it'll stop by like 9 in the morning. Like, by the time the sun comes up, because obviously we're really close to the equator, so clouds have a hard time staying cloudy near the equator, but works for me, so it's really great. So love the rainy season, and it's not even cold. It's like, it's just great. It's kind of like spring. It's as close to spring or fall as we get, but it's always kind of like spring because everything's getting greener. It goes from like the dry season to the green season. And side fact, Nairobi is known as a green city under the sun. Doesn't sound like that, like you wouldn't actually put that together, but that is Nairobi. It's pretty great here. So I'll put that video at the end of here. I filmed a little bit of the rain, of our first rain, on my veranda, so I'll put that at the end of the video if you're interested. Please let me know what's on your hook, what's your whips, what's your future projects, what do you want to work on, and is there any tutorials, like anything you want to crochet up? Maybe I want to crochet it up too, we could do it together. And who's done a cowl? I totally want to do a cowl. And by totally want to do a cowl, I mean maybe by January, because I do have to get through this crazy season and all these things I've committed to doing, which I've committed to doing. So hopefully, or let's think of something we want to do in January. Start the new year off. So let me know what your comments are in the comments below. Find us on Facebook. We have a crochet group, and or drop me an email. But comments below is probably the easiest. And thanks very much for watching. Stay hooked. Have a great weekend. Can't wait to see what you're up to. Stay hooked. This is October rains, so they call it long rains. That's that house across, the house across the street. That they are, you hear hammering and stuff, so it's really far away. And that's my guest house over there. So I film in that window on the right, but you hear the noise from that house over there. Anyway, this is rain. So this is our outdoor patio. It's kind of on top of our carport. It's really big, and I'm getting wet on this side. I'm sure you can see the raindrops on the camera. So this is Africa rain. It doesn't drizzle. It comes down, but then can you see over far by those past those trees? There's like some blue skies. Over there, it's not raining a bit. My in-laws live about 7 minutes from here. No, longer. 9 minutes because they're speed bumps. And we'll have rain here, and they'll be hot and sunny over there. So that's the field on that other side where the goats and sheep go every morning. And anyway, this is my house. But all my furniture is soaked because the wind blows. So usually it... Thunder, lightning. So when you hear that, you have to charge your stuff because the power is going to go out. But, yeah, all my furniture is soaked. Oh my gosh, it's really wet. It's all like a sponge. Oh well. Anyway, that's rain in October, and guess what? Mid-October it's supposed to start, and when is it? October 13th. So like we're actually bang on how it's supposed to be. Anyway, thought I'd show you. The roads actually flood in like 10 minutes of rain. It's a flood. Like your car will stop because there's 1.5 feet of water. Anyway, I love it. It is, I have my thermostat out here for my temperature blanket. Oh wow, it's cold. So 20.6 degrees. So I mean it's actually not, and my Wi-Fi extender. But it's actually not cold, but really raining. Anyway, there's my little Kenya blurb of the week.